What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. You guys, it's on. It is so on. We're doing it, man. We really are. Here it is, right? Things were not looking the best, not going to lie. I had my expectations set that we would go down to 58K, and we didn't do it. Look at this, you guys. Look at this. Look at what we did, right? We closed. Come on now. We closed right above this low, just above it. We went below it. Okay, actually, I want to look into this a little bit more. All right, we went below it here. Right, the last 4-hour candle was the next one here. Okay, we had the impression. Look at how convincing that candle might have been. It's the end of the day. We have one more candle to go. The impression was that we were going to get a lower daily close. Okay, that we were going to be not just bouncing off the oversold zone, but back actually into it, right? And then probably going lower. And it didn't happen. We got that end of the day reverse, and it just didn't stop after that. It continued to go on, and now we are breaking out of this consolidation range. We might be having a BART pattern, right? Up. Maybe not. I don't know. Kind of, maybe not. I don't know. That might not be so much of a BART. I'm going to take it back. Maybe not a BART, but still, I definitely do think this is legit. I think this is the real move. Look at the volume that we're seeing as we're moving up. It's beautiful. Doesn't have to stop here. The area that I was looking for us to get above to make this low legitimate was 62K. And look at this. Look at this, man. We actually bounced right off the 618. I actually didn't see that, but the golden ratio bounced off it, got back above the 382, found support on it, got back above the 236, found support on it, and now we're up here. Hold on. There we go. That's actually more of an accurate look. From a high point to a low point, we are in our expected area, in our extension zone. Do not be scared. Do not worry if the price from here pulls back down to about 62K. Okay, this was the area that we needed to break. Breaking above that and pulling back to it to find support. It was resistance for a second, and now it's support. Would actually be a really good thing. Okay, we are overbought on the 4-hour RSI. Seeing that cool off, it would be a good thing, right? If we came down a little bit, formed a higher low in this kind of like channel that we may or may not be in, that wouldn't be bad at all. So don't worry if over like the next day, maybe two, I'd probably think just like a day or so, if we were to make that move down, but we don't have to. We absolutely don't have to. This is a very small fib range. We could be making our move all the way up to 65K, 66K, like genuinely that could be what happens over the next day or two. So I'm really excited. I'm really curious to see what happens to kick this week off. It is a new week. We're only 4 hours, not even technically 4 hours into this new week from the relative high to low. Again, you guys hit that like button and subscribe. We have pierced above the 382. It is extremely common. And just because I'm about to say this doesn't mean it has to happen, but it's so common, you guys, to pierce above the 382 and then you close below it and then you move back down to your 236 and then you bounce up. Okay, we could go as low as 61,400. I'm not worried if we do. I'd be worried if we closed a day below 62K. I wouldn't be worried if we actually moved down to 61.4K. That'd be very normal on a fib perspective. But with how much grief that 62K area gave us for about a week there, I'm not really expecting it. I would more expect a bounce off of 62K. It's not as common to like bounce in this in-between zone. You normally do reject the 382, go to your 236, and then onward. You know, that's kind of the normal play to happen. But we could also close above the 382 today. If we do get a close up above the 382, then what's more likely to happen is not a pullback to the 236, though that could happen, right? Even a pullback somewhere in the in-between. Anything can happen. These are just lines. They're not requirements. They're not prophecies. They're not written in stone anywhere. It's just ideas, right? And we follow the price in correspondence to those ideas to see if there's any respect, to see if we can project moves out. But what normally happens when you close above the 382 is you kind of consolidate, and then you move up. And maybe you don't move up like that. Maybe you only go to your 61869 area, pull back to your 0.5382 area again, and then you move up further. That's more normal, but who knows, man? Anything can happen. I think the most bullish case right now probably would be to close above the 382. So let's look for that today. In 20 hours and 22 minutes, let's close above $63,288. Let's just call it $63,300, okay? Close above there. And I would assume that prices below 62K are not just off the table, but they're off the table for the rest of the cycle, you guys. Like maybe forever. Who knows? Like who really knows? Okay. Very exciting times. I like what we're seeing. I like the RSI right now. It was definitely not looking the best, but right now it is. It bounced right off the oversold zone. We didn't technically get that bearish divergence, but who cares? You don't need bearish divergence to have a low. I'd like to see us get above the 50, and really what I'd like to see us do is get above the 60 area here and maintain levels above the 60. Something like this, but with more oomph to it. I want some follow through. I don't want to get to the overbought zone and then reject. And you know, if we do that, that's okay. If we hover here, that's okay. But don't fall back down. Continue up. You know, do stuff like this. Do stuff like, well, maybe not like that actually. That was probably bullish though back here. Let's see. Yeah, that was bullish back there. So I mean, I guess we could do that, but different kind of scenarios there. Something else I want to go over before I end the video actually is that a little thing that I do personally, a relationship that I've noticed in the RSI with this 123 daily moving average. Okay, so this is the 123. That's what the screen line is. If you take the RSI and you adjust its length setting to 123 as well, I've noticed, and it's not 100% of the time, okay? This by itself, it might be like 60-40, right? Like 60% of the time it's true, 40% of the time it's not true by itself, okay? But if you use other things to culminate with it, it can have better results, a lot better results. But definitely more often than not, this does reign to be true, which is that if the 123 RSI is above the 50, but the price itself is below the 123 moving average, normally the expectation is that this is your low point and it's time to go up. Let's see if we can find any scenarios where that's true going back in time. Here you were right at it, well above it, clear low point right there at the 123. Okay. Well, that one you it wouldn't have helped anyways, but definitely a low point there. Here was this was coming off of our lows though, so that might be different, right? We didn't have our uptrend established just yet, but you can see here we did flip the RSI from being below the 50 to getting above the 50, and we were still below the 123 moving average. Okay, we bounced off the 50 here, and that's what sent us up to break the 123. That's actually a very common maneuver in itself. So once we got bullish, that was kind of the end of this phase, and when we started to move up. Not really a good example because, again, this was, wait, am I remembering this wrong? I am remembering this wrong. I got August 2023. I thought this was August 2022. I thought this was back here. So I guess that does work to some degree, even though we came out of a downtrend, whatever. Here, bounced right off the 50, right? And you were below the 123, perfect area to buy, right? If you bought any time below the 123, perfect area to buy. Here, you got below the 50, all right, and you were still above the 123. So there are times where it doesn't completely follow through, right? But there's other things going on too. And if we look back at the 10 RSI, I would wonder. I mean, you were oversold. Nothing really off of that other than you were oversold. You bounced off you tipped the 123 moving average, which you show respect on that from time to time. So that in itself could have been it. And you found support at this 1414 area, which is very common right now for a lot of cryptos. To literally like pierce the 1414 but not quite reach that 1618. Anyways, I'm getting all caught up on the theory, you guys. I was just more trying to articulate a thought. $63,350 is what we're at now. If we can close today, my friends, if Bitcoin can close, come on now, above $63,300, that's kind of the goal, the short-term goal, the more immediate-term goal. Then we can look forward to moving up to 66.5K, 67.5K, those areas there. It's very normal. It's very common to, once you close above your 382 on your first interaction, if you don't reject it and then come back to your 236, if you do this where you close above it, it's actually very common to kind of ping pong in here for a little bit and then move up. Okay, so don't be surprised if we're, it's a little bit of excitement right now, and then we have the calm before the storm, right? A little bit of a foreshadowing of what's to come, calm it down, and then boom, right? Cast some doubts, give some people an opportunity to get in, stuff like that, and then we rip, man. And we really could, by the end of July, either be near our all-time highs, or be past our all-time highs, our current all-time highs. I would expect personally sometime in August is when we're going to be seeing these levels. It could be September, August, September, but I do think July will be a decent month. I'm not expecting too much out of July, but of course I would love to be surprised. I think we all would. I'd love to be wrong on that, but just because I'm not expecting too much doesn't mean that we can't see growth. I mean, when I say I'm not expecting too much out of July, I would say from here to like where I would expect us to be potentially by the end of the month is maybe like anywhere from like a 10% to like a 14-15% growth overall. Could be what's to come in the next 30 days. So we'll see. I say 30 days, 31 days technically, right? January, March, April, May, June, July. No, July is January, February. I did January, March. I forgot February. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, July is 31 days. I suppose I could have just looked at my calendar. Yes, and it does. It does say 31 days on it there. Anyways, a lot of talking, a lot of nonsense, you guys. Things are looking good. That's really the gist of this video. It would look better if we close above 63.3K. If we don't, that's okay. It's completely fine. Just, I would expect that we hold 61.4K or even potentially 62K and then move up from there. So look for that. I would not like to see 61.4K break. I wouldn't like to see 62K break either, but technically speaking, from like a Fibonacci ratio range perspective, that the line in the sand is 61.4K. The 58K targets are off the table. They're off the table now, guys. That's what this move, that's what this look has done, in my opinion. The only way that would change is if we had like a harsh rejection today and close below the 236. If that happens, well, then maybe 58K is on the table. So hopefully I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch, but that does happen a lot here. But we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. I think we're on our way up. I think this was just exactly what I've been saying it would be, which is a higher low, nothing to be worried about. We had sentiment tank, man, just absolutely tank. Let's see if it'll pull up here. Tanked down to the 30 twice. People were so discouraged, you guys. This was the lowest that the fear and greed index has been in like almost a year's time. We've only been down here literally three times in the last year, right? And that time was September 12th, 2023. September 12th, 2023, for reference sake, was right here, wasn't it? Yeah, it was this week. The week started on the 11th, so September 12th was literally the week of the low. We did not skyrocket immediately. No, it took us one whole week, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. It took us until our 6th week, over a month, before we started to move up, right? And that's kind of what I was saying, is that I expect July to be good, right? It moved up in that time from this low here to up here. But the next month, August, that's when I expect to see this follow through past the current all-time highs and on to new all-time highs, somewhere in the 80,000s, 90,000s, even up to 100,000. Genuinely could be happening in August, September, October, that time frame. So, but I think we're starting it now. I think this is that higher low, right? This is that double bottom, that whatever. That's our like final low before breaking out of this range. That's kind of my assumption. So, on a weekly basis, bouncing off the 50 here on the RSI, or at least in this general area, tends to be a good thing. We did it back here. I mean, like literally to a T, bounced right off of this same exact area, right? We're a little bit lower. Okay, maybe not to a T, but pretty damn close. And that sent us, I mean, that was what sent us to our first peak in our bull cycle last time. So, and we're kind of, I guess we're not in the same area based on the halving, but I don't know. Who knows, man? We could be like in this phase right now, or maybe we're here. July is this right here, right? We creep up a little bit, and then August, September, October, if we start to move up. That's my thoughts as of now. I mean, it could be completely different than that. It could look exactly like that. Maybe we continue to grow past then, but I do think that we will obviously continue to grow past then. I'm thinking when I say August, September, October for growth, I'm just implying that we will have another consolidation phase after we have our next move up, right? Maybe we move up just past 100K and then we consolidate. People are going to say that's the end of the bull run. That's it right there. And then we move up more. That's kind of my expectations. I do think the bull market is going to end sometime in late 2025, the second half of 2025. But, we'll talk about that as the days go on. I'm just going to end the video here. So hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more. Things look good. Things look really good. And that's all I got to say. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.